This is a very critical part because today licensing is quite complex business. You have all kinds of licenses, local, international.
According to you, what could be the reason why people are going more towards Anjouan license?
Timing is everything in life, apparently. If you have not enough experience and money, don't even start such a complex. I just want to share a very interesting infographics that visualizes the whole gaming structure of a very
Mhm.
common company structure. 20 years ago, when the industry was just starting, it was a
Mhm.
jungle. You know, you can do basically whatever you like, but the industry has grown up a lot.
Welcome to the iGaming Unplugged, Unfiltered by GammaStack, the show where we take the filters off and talk about what's really happening behind the scenes in the iGaming world. I am Sunny Hooda, and today we are diving into one of the trickiest and most expensive part of launching an iGaming business, licensing. Joining me today is someone who's been helping operators make those calls for over 2 decades, Gilad Oren. He's the CEO of GBO International Financial Services and co-founder of Values. And in this episode, we'll talk about how to pick the right jurisdiction without losing your shirt, how to future-proof your structure, and how global regulations are reshaping the next decade of iGaming. Uh, Gilad, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here and speaking with you, Sunny.
Uh, great. Thank you so much. Let's start with a little walkthrough, the most common trade-offs. Choosing between the few, fast, low cost compliances like Anjouan, Kuroshova, and higher reputations EU licenses in the Europe.
Great question. Thank you. Um, the regulation in gaming is changing and evolving all the time. Okay. And today, when operators, they want to set up their own structure, new structure, or even have another layer of licensing into existing structure, they need to decide what layers of license they are looking for.
Mhm.
Um, and there are a few layers of licenses, starting from the offshore kind of gaming licenses, and then going up to European and even US. But from my experience, when operator is coming to choose the right license, um, they should really look on the maintenance and what they are looking for a license. And most important, where are they focusing um, to bring players? This is a very critical part because today licensing is quite complex business. You have all kinds of licenses, local, international, and regulation is getting much and much stricter. Every time it's evolved and getting stricter. Um, so in my opinion, I can identify, let's say, three main layers of gaming licenses. The first layer, which I guess everyone knows, is the most common license today. It's Anjouan.
Mhm.
This is incredible what is going on with this jurisdiction. More than thousand, much more than thousand companies
Mhm.
moved to Anjouan in like little less than 2.5 years. Okay, and it was a slow start, but in recent years they are booming, like dozens of new licenses every month. But this is like the first layer of gaming licenses. Second layer, which a very good example is Nevis. This is a new jurisdiction we will speak about
Mhm.
later. Offers basically new, completely new and fresh regulation. Regulation just passed few months ago in Nevis Parliament, and this is the new one. So the gaming law itself was built for the future, was built from scratch, and the license, facilitate international operators. So this is like a second tier. Nevis also, it's a very reputable jurisdiction. They are doing corporate services more than 30 years and currently have about 20,000 companies that they manage. So it's a very reputable jurisdiction. So this is like the second layer. Third layer are the EU regulator, which are quite common, like Isle of Man, Malta, and even local one. But those one, all the time on steady demand. Although I can see that decreased in demand for Malta license and also Isle of Man. A lot of things is happening in the regulation world, and today a lot of operators and platforms and big players are moving to the international gaming licenses or international regulation, such as Nivis and Anjouan.
My question was, now we have seen that, in last 2.5 years, more than almost 2.5 and 3 years, that Anjouan is getting quite famous. Everyone's first choice right now is, I think, Anjouan. According to you, what could be the reason why people are going more towards Anjouan license?
So timing is everything in life, apparently.
Correct.
And what happened in recent years is that Curacao was, the main leading international license or offshore license. More than 2,000 companies registered in Curacao, and let's say almost every online casino, every online gaming app operation whatsoever had the Curacao sub-license. Okay, it wasn't a master license. There were only 4 master licenses in Curacao, and they issued sub-licenses, more than 2,000 sub-licenses. It was crazy. It was quite a cheap license. If I remember, something around $50,000, $20,000, and you can get it in a few weeks. But 2 years ago, Curacao government decided to change the whole infrastructure and regulation. And what happens that most of the companies that were registered in Curacao decided to leave Curacao for a lot of reasons. Lack of transparency, changes. There were months that the portal was closed, on instability, all kinds of bad things in the media and in the government, in the country, that basically many companies escaped kind of from Curacao. And Anjouan was just beginning, and it was the perfect storm for Anjouan, because hundreds of companies had to find a new license right now. They have only a few months to have a license, because an operator or platform, if their license is expired, that's it. They are automatically blocked by payments and banking and by players. It's a disaster. So Anjouan was right in the corner and just attract most of the Curacao operators that left Curacao, and lucky them, they succeeded to really build a very, very good, for international license, very good infrastructure, very steady one. So they took all the jackpot with all those companies, and today there are more than 1,000 companies listed in Anjouan and hold the Anjouan license. And this is what happened in the shifting in the gaming regulation in the recent world. But again, there are new jurisdictions that today offer better stability and much better reputational jurisdiction, like the Nivis one.
Well said. This could be the word of the vision. And again, time is money. Everyone is looking for the fastest solution what they can have in front of them, right? Talking about the fast, what could be the hidden, or what are hidden operational or banking headaches tend to emerge after a fast license that founders usually don't accept?
Yeah. Well, banking, payments, crypto, this is usually a headache for a lot of operators, especially if they operate internationally or globally. Now, we are working only with regulated markets. So my knowledge is based on the regulated market. Basically, when a company applies for a bank account or merchant
Mhm.
account or any other
Mhm.
financial account, then they going through a very strict compliance. Okay, and in the beginning, for example, when Anjouan started, no one
Mhm.
recognized this license. No one recognized this, and it wasn't a strong enough
Mhm.
um, to be like a valid license. And then a lot of operators faced declines for banks. Why? Because they just didn't, for by the eye of the bank, they didn't have the license. But in time, many banks, all banks, EMIs basically, electronic money institution based in Europe, they accepted the license. And when today, when a gaming company is approaches bank, the bank automatically, you know, set the rules and set the risk factors of the company. Now, if the company is not standing in the right risk factors, then it can identify it as high risk or even ultra
Mhm.
high risk of financial institution, and their account will not be open. That's it. So today, banking and payments and all the financial world is looking for a company with a good and reputable jurisdiction with a fixed structure of the company. Everything should be very organized, and banks require a lot of documentation and proofs. It's not easy like it was in the past. This is I can tell you for sure.
Oh, great. I think nowadays it's not about the corporate license. I think it's not even about the corporate banking. It's about the personal as well. It's not easy to just send or receive any kind of payment, even when you're sending to your
Yes,
family also. It's
yes,
I think
yes,
there are a lot of regulations out there. New every even I think every month when you see there are new compliances coming up in the
yes.
market. Uh,
Sunny,
again,
I
but
can just add. I can just add and even tell you, for example,
Mhm.
crypto. In the past, and
Yes,
the past is only 2, 3 years ago, right?
correct,
When, for
correct.
example, my company, when we received payments from clients, so our crypto wallet, they didn't ask a lot of questions, it was immediately entered
Hmm.
into the wallet, and that's it. Today, even crypto wallets, they are working under regulation, uh, and they see it as a SWIFT or even a SEPA transfer. And for each crypto payments, they require the same documentation, exactly
Hmm.
the same documentation as they require for a SEPA or international payment. They need proof. They want to see agreement, invoices, all those AML requirements. So all the companies that are not working regularly and they don't have a very good operation in the backside, they are facing a lot of issue with banks and payments because they cannot support all those payments in and out, especially for high risk companies like operators or in the gaming industry. This is and like you said, regulation is increasing every day, every month, a new regulation, and new requirements.
Yeah, I think it's there, and even it's this issue is with everyone, not even only with the operators. Even when you're working with vendors, you're working with, let's say, for the exhibitions, when you're working with vendors, and whenever you're making payments for to some other country, and I think back in days it was a little easy,
Yes,
especially with the crypto balance, you're just accepting, you're just getting the wallet ID and you're sending the payments to them. But now again, as you mentioned, there are a lot of questions are there, a lot of compliances you have to follow. And even making a small payment to a small vendor or small exhibition company or anyone in the market, right? It's becoming very
anyone,
difficult
yes.
for them. Yeah, it's becoming very difficult for them as well because they have to maintain the compliances as they have to maintain for the international banking licenses or banking accounts. So I think it's every day whenever we see a news, there's new compliances are coming up and it's making life a little hard. Again, safe or not, that is a totally different scenario, totally different questions to but yeah, it's happening there. Again, as we are
Yes,
talking about the operators mainly, and we started a conversation with the operators, I have another question, which is, which I think many users or many operators, they have these questions whenever they're coming to the industry, that how should an operator design their corporate structure, right, from day one to keep future relicensing or migrations options open.
this is a very a very common question, I must say. I just had a little note, my company, GBO, what we do, we set up structures every year, hundreds of new gaming companies. And everyone asks the same question, okay, what is the best structure that will enable me in the future to develop and hold and maintenance it? So I just want to share a very interesting infographics that visualizes the whole gaming structure of a very common company structure. So give me a second. Give me a second. It's over the screen, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay. So here I'm sharing a very interesting infographics that basically visualizes how common gaming company structures look like. We see it in many jurisdictions and thousands of companies more or less having the same structure, but with other complexity. This is the most simple complexity in gaming structure. So first of all, let's go over the component, and then I will explain how everything combines together. It's very visual. So you need to have second, it's disappeared. Oh, you see now?
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay. First of all, you need to have to incorporate a company, usually in the same jurisdiction where you obtain the license. For example, in Nevis. So you need to incorporate a Nevis company. Okay, the Nevis company, after the company is being incorporated, then obtains the gaming license. The gaming license is under the Nevis, for example, the Nevis company or any other offshore company or international jurisdiction. Now, so let's say the first step in setting up new gaming companies, first of all, you need to incorporate the company and then obtain a license for the company. Now, once the company is being incorporated, in order to obtain the license, you need to have a lot of requirements. Some of the jurisdictions demands many requirements, some less, but overall, the requirements are more or less the same. It's a completely AML on the company documentation, company owners, UBOs, which is ultimate beneficial owners, and any other sort of requirements. It can be a business plan, it can be certificates. They can also ask for a platform software agreement to see that you are really going to use the license and you actually setting up a gaming company. So there are a lot of requirements. Once the company obtains all the requirements and documentation, then they grant the license. Okay. Now, any online asset, either it's casino, sports, bingo, it doesn't matter. You need to have a platform. You need to have software, also back and front end. So what happens usually is that the company, the holding company, which holds the license, then needs to sign agreement with the software provider, with the platform, with the aggregator. It doesn't matter. You need to have a software. So once you have the company, you sign the agreement with the software. Amazing. Now, most of the problems comes what we spoke in the beginning is with the payments issue. Many EMIs and payments and even crypto wallets, they have all kinds of limitation in the risk factors. And they find it quite difficult sometimes to open an account under international company, like in Anjouan, for example, or even Nevis. So what usually structures do, set up another company, subsidiary to the holding company. Usually it's an EU company. In Cyprus, Bulgaria, it's very common jurisdictions. And this acts like the payment agent of the whole structure. And this company, the EU entity, they sign agreements with payments, with wallets, with EMIs, which is very common, with open banking. Any financial company that they want to onboard on their structure sign under the EU company. Okay, now how money flows here in this structure? Um, Clients, which are players, they deposit um, in all kinds of ways. Okay, and the money goes directly up to the company because the EU company is held 100% by the holding company. Um, okay, so what we are seeing here is that it's the most basic structure. Sometimes in big groups or complex structures, you see another layer that there is another company that holds the holding company and another sister company. Sometimes structures are really complex because of company owners and all kinds of tax issues and corporate issues. So this is what I'm sharing here is a very basic structure and very common in the industry. Very common in the industry. And of course, you can add here another payment options and another, sometimes even companies work with a
Mhm.
few, but this is how most of the companies at the end of looks like.
I think it looks I think it's very much understandable when you're explaining this via visuals.
Yes,
I just have
yes.
one question. I think this is not related to this, but a little more of for the operators. Let's say if some operators they want to launch in multiple regions. I think I've already explained just for our users to make them understand better, and they have if they have this kind of question. If they wanted to launch in multiple regions, and what's the simplest compliance architecture to avoid duplicate workloads? Because it happens a lot. I have seen that people stuck with the duplicate workloads, duplicacy and everything. How they can avoid with this structure or when they are working for multiple jurisdictions?
So, each much depends in the license they are holding and the
Mhm,
players they are going to target. Now, I'm on the, let's say, the corporate or legal even side of the industry,
mhm,
and and for me, any new, let's say, regulation or any new compliance issues, it's better for the industry because it keeps the industry in a better way. It raises
mhm,
confidentiality from clients, from players. The whole industry is having
mhm,
better reputation, let's say. So, for example, if now there is a new demand by AML,
mhm,
um, okay, it's great because smaller players, smaller companies, which are not working according to the law, they just cannot maintain difficult
mhm,
and complex AML procedures to obtaining licenses, to obtaining the players, for example. So they are just moving out the industry, and the industry in general becomes much more stronger and with
mhm,
better reputational legacy. So today, when we set up, for example, new
mhm,
gaming operations, yes, compliance and AML, it's a major issue in any operation, because the demand not only comes from the regulation or from the license you obtain,
mhm,
and you need to maintain it. Every year you need to maintain the license, but also from your platform provider, game providers, banks, EMI, all those regulated bodies. So smaller companies, yes, they're facing sometimes difficulties in their structure because it's
mhm,
very difficult for them to maintain the structure for second year. And also don't remember the main purpose is their main purpose is to have as much as more players and make money. So sometimes those two, let's say, those two verticals collapse each other. But I see, yeah, that small companies are facing a lot of issues when they're approaching the international market by compliance and AML.
mhm. Oh, I think it's a very good advice for this. So again, I think we have clearly discussed one thing that structure is very important. Structure is clearly matters, and not just for today, but for the next licenses you might
Yes.
go after. Just let's dig in future, prove their setup for global expansion. When talking about the global expansion, how have global licensing frameworks evolved over the last 5 years, and what major shifts do you foresee by 2030? Like if we discussed in the starting that Anjouan is coming up in last, I think it's become quite famous in last 2.5 years, right? And it's still going. We don't know, but as per your expertise, as per your understanding, what shift have been are we seeing from last 5 years, and what kind of major shifts can we foresee for next, by 2030?
Interesting question. Um, it's amazing about the industry, the gaming industry. It's
Mm-hmm.
first of all, it's truly global. For example, we have clients literally all over the world, from Japan to Chile to
Mm-hmm.
Canada and to Scandinavia, all over the world. And you see that um, today, international companies, global companies, they hold, like I said before, they hold an international license, let's say Dinivis or Anjouan,
Mm-hmm.
and those licenses are enable them to operate legally in a lot of countries where there is no regulation on those countries. There is a very strict,
Mm-hmm.
restricted countries. But I see that companies, again, from all over the world, having more or less the same structure like I showed before, and they're expanding globally, and they're working quite the same, all those companies. Um, and in addition, again, there was a huge, big shift from Curacao to Anjouan and Nevis licenses. So you see every couple of years, every few years, you see shifting from a very popular jurisdiction to other jurisdiction. And in the recent years, because of the high demand and high requirements by EU regulator, we see that also very big companies, big groups, I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about huge companies, they are also having international licenses for specific markets. Um, so I can say that most of the companies, they are working more or less in the same way. Of course, there are huge differences by compliance, by tech side. We need also to speak about the tech side in the licensing.
Correct.
But I see that most of the companies are having more or less, even the huge brands and the smallest new startups now,
Mm-hmm.
more or less the same questions and same issues they are facing. Um, and people today looking for the international licenses rather than a local, because the local licenses are restrict you only the specific country, while the international licenses, enlarge your markets through other markets and countries, which you're not able to operate under a local license. This is the biggest shift that I see from
Mm-hmm.
jurisdiction. And like I said before, in the past, Curacao was the leading jurisdiction, but today it's literally it's left away. We see a lot of companies that moving out from Curacao because there is no use, and moving to Anjouan and moving to Nevis, which, like I said, it's a new one. So this is what I see um, in the industry. The shifting between regulations and jurisdictions. Um,
Well,
so
I think you have answered very well. I think, and my audience, they also have the answer to this question: what's coming, what's happening right now in the licensing field, and for the compliance, and what is going to happen for the next couple of years. Uh, I think this is also a very interesting question. I think you've answered this, in so many times before as well. But just to state one again, and to talk about this once more. According to you, which regions are currently the most operator friendly for the new entrants, like for the new entrepreneurs, and which are tightening the reins?
I think Asia.
Mm-hmm.
In Asia, we have a lot of clients in Asia. The industry is booming in Asia, obviously also in Africa and Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
But the Asian markets usually they lead the way with new gains, new operations, and I see many companies moving more and more to Asia. Something very interesting that can show it. It's by the conferences in the gaming industry. There are quite a lot of conferences, international conferences,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've been going to conferences for, I don't know, 10 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
This year I've been like in 10 conferences. So it's amazing. Every year you see that the conference itself Sigma, ICE, SBC, all those big brands. Every year, every conference is the biggest at its kind. So the industry is getting larger every year, and you see it by the amount of people that come to the conference. Now, I've been this year in a few conferences in Asia, and it was fantastic. You see,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of interest and a lot of European companies, operators, softwares, banking, EMI, payments, crypto, moving to Asia and exhibiting those Asian
Mm-hmm.
conferences, which in the past, were for Asians. So today it's really mixture. And you see how European companies and gaming companies moving into Asia and looking for clients and operations there. Also, Brazil was booming last year. They had a new regulation, and many companies tried to work in Brazil, but the most problematic way is that the regulation itself is very difficult to maintain. It's not international. It's not meant for small companies, only for the biggest brands. So, then the most easy penetration for new clients is, this is what I see. It's Asia and even Northern Africa. This is what I
I think
see.
I think yeah, that's as I mentioned. Brazil is always right now. I think from last 1.5 years, Brazil is always on the top. Whenever if you are going to analyze your numbers, especially as a B2B company, we as a service provider, if we analyze our numbers, people are always coming from Brazil. A lot of people are coming from
Yes,
Brazil, and we have seen the shift, right? And we were like, we were not even focusing that much. We were focusing, but the focus, it was not our priority that much. And then we saw a lot of changes happening, and then we saw a lot of new clients coming for us from the Brazil, and then we thought, why not? When if the business is coming, then why not? You should have to focus. And again, as you mentioned, lots of conferences are happening in Brazil. Ah, I think it's there. It's almost in the corner that Brazil is constantly trying to come up on the top, and I'm pretty much sure that in the next upcoming years, that for especially for the companies, especially for the operators, it's going to be on their top 5 list at least, that you have to be in there in the Brazil.
yes, yeah,
Uh,
for sure. I agree with you.
coming to the next point, I think it's more of a time where we wanted to ask us as a Gamma Stack, like according to you as expert in the industry, how do you think tech partners like us, Gamma Stack, can help operators like stay compliant without showing without showing innovations?
Again, I'm going back to the conference industry in
Mm-hmm.
our industry. Half of the
Mm-hmm.
conference are platforms, aggregations, software providers, tech providers, and the competition is crazy. It's really, really crazy. And I see every conference, you see the same huge companies and new companies, new brands that offering tech to
Mm-hmm.
operators. And if today, a platform provider or tech provider is not keeping up with the latest games, innovations, payments options, and all kinds of,
Mm-hmm.
state-of-the-art technology, it will not last. The competition is so high, and this market is so, let's say, in high competition,
Mm-hmm.
that you need to be all the time. I see it from all clients. You need to be all the time, lead the way and have new innovations and attract clients. Otherwise, it's very difficult, to maintain in this high competition industry, specifically for the game providers and platforms. Which the client.
I think it's a fair point. It's a fair point, and the market is competition is very high for sure. Every day you see that see, I think this happens whenever you go to any new or whenever you go to any conference, you'll see new companies are there,
Yes,
and
yes.
when the
New
brands are
companies with,
going
with huge booths,
going,
that invest a
yeah,
lot of money in the conference.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you
and
need to be
then
in the game, you need to have also very deep pockets and big
correct.
investments in order to play in the big game.
Game in the big game. Obviously,
Yes,
I think we recently went to one of our brand, Gamma Sweep, we focus for it's more of a sweepstake brand. We only focus, and we are I think right now from last 3 years we are the top company.
Yes,
We're one of the we always come on the top for the sweepstakes in US, and then every time when we go to conferences, we see new brands out there, right? And
yes,
again, as you mentioned, it has to be you have to spend a lot, you have to plan your marketing in a very wisely, your budgets, but consistency and sustainability is also very important that you have to see because
absolutely.
I've seen last year I went to SBC Miami. I've seen lots of new sweepstakes brands were there, and this time they were gone. They were not there. They were, I think, I'm not sure what happened to them, but the new brands are there. And might be possible when we'll go to next exhibition, these brands will be swapped with the new ones. So new brands are coming, they're spending good money. They
Yeah,
have to spend to survive in the market. But they always miss this part that sustainability is also a thing. If you're not innovating enough, if you don't connect with your partners, your clients, with the
exactly,
operators, if you don't understand them better,
exactly,
what are their
exactly.
pain points, you won't be able to innovate. And if you're not innovating, if you're not that I would say if you're not stepping ahead in from every other competitors of yours, next time you won't be there.
Exactly, exactly. And I think your company, GammaStack, is a very good example of a company that, I go to so many conferences, and each conference, I see you. You have a very, very nice booth with the recognizable brand awareness. So you keep, the maintenance of the brand, and stability is very important. It's like when an operator chooses a platform, it's like a wedding. It's very difficult to
Yeah,
go out
yeah,
because
yeah.
this is the basic of your whole company, and choosing it's like choosing the correct jurisdiction or license, but choosing
Hmm.
the core software of your operation is very important, because otherwise it can be so difficult to maintain it and to work and to succeed. I see many entrepreneurs that went wrong choices when they came to choose the correct platform, and they are stuck in the business. They didn't even
And
renew the business for the second year. Why? Because maybe they went to big company, that the company is not willing to work with startups.
mhm.
For example, it's not meant for them. Or maybe even other, that they are going to new platform or new software, and the new software, they just don't have enough resources to support a big operation.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
critical
I
point
think
in the market.
it's a very fair point which you mentioned. It just reminded me of a story recently when I went to Vegas. I met a couple of clients, they booked a meeting with us, they came to the booth and we were having discussion. And then at some point they majorly, I think I've met three clients over there, and they were like, we are working with XYZ company, and they promised us they will help us launch within these weeks, and they help us actually launched, but we are not able to scale because they don't know how to do it. They don't Their platform is, there's lots of downtime is there, and even it happens a lot in the business that even I think it's for you as well, not only for us, for every business. People always focus on acquisition, but it's important to focus on the relationship as well. You also have to focus on maintaining a
Course.
relationship. At some point, I understand, this is new brands are doing, that they have onboarded these clients, and when they receive the money, everything's done, and then they forget them. They don't focus
Yeah,
them. They don't maintain a good relationship with them. And
exactly.
that's why people come to us. And for the entrepreneurs, it's again, as you mentioned, it's a wedding, and the alimony fees is too much. It's too high.
Yes.
If you wanted to get out, you have to pay a lot. And the point is, then you start working with somebody else, and then you realize that the promises was just fake promises, and everything is not meeting because the expectations are not clear. And like again, then that's how I met these three clients. They were just this problem that they were working with somebody else, and the problem is there. They were not fixing the problem, and then some of our good, good clients, they told them about us, and they came to us to meet in there. And sometimes it feels good that well, you as a brand, you are growing, and people are talking about you, and then they actually trust you, right?
Yeah.
But again, coming to the point, this is the whole mantra for everyone. Acquisition is important for sure, but Retention is also very important. You have to maintain a good relationship with your clients. Treat them as your first line, always. Whether it's your
Of
100, whether
course,
it's your, always treat them as your first line, because they are the ones who will take you. If they'll grow, eventually you will grow. It's a very simple
of course.
scenario here.
You, you know,
Move. Moving.
Sunny,
Mhm.
maybe I can speak on another
Sure.
angle of exactly what you said, something
Mhm.
interesting. And this is like the growing up of the industry and the development of the industry.
Mhm.
In the past, now in the past, clients, new entrepreneurs that wanted to enter this industry, they had to deal with a lot of technical issues. I need
Mhm.
to have servers, I need to have platform, I need to do all the APIs.
Mhm.
Okay, it was the to enter the gaming industry, you need to have very big pockets of money and a lot of knowledge. Today, and this is something that I see, let's say for the last decade, today you have all kinds of turnkey solutions that
Correct.
clients can come to you without anything. And at the end of the way, he will finish the whole setup with everything is working, and you can start generating players and money instantly. What do I mean? Um, for example, big companies, even my company,
Mhm.
you come to us, we handle everything from the company's corporate side, license, banking, payments, company formation, everything. And then you can work with like a big platform and they do a turnkey solution for you. They close all the parts, all the technical parts, everything, backend, front end, design, make all the APIs already in the platform, all the payments, all the crypto wallets, all the complex APIs with third parties, with AML system, everything. And the clients receive very fast onboarding and a complete solution, amazing solution. Like 10 years ago, it would cost him millions to do. And today he can do it, with 10% of the price. So this is something that I see that it's going to be more and more clients looking for a turnkey solution and to deal with most of them want to deal only with marketing, to bring players,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
to deal with
That's
all
correct.
the rest of the stuff, with
Yes.
the boring stuff, let's say.
Yes, yes. That's what we both are doing here. Like we are, it's because it's not like we are doing something for only for us. It's both. It's mutual, right? If a client is coming, and again, as you mentioned, the cost was so high back in days. Now it's just
Yes,
depends on mentality. I've seen, even we have seen as a company that sometimes people when they come to us, they talk about that, hey, we wanted to launch this. They have the mindset, they have the experience, and by talking to them, by analyzing a couple of things, by evaluating a couple of things, you'll get an understanding as a platform provider that this person, he has this experience that he can run the
yes,
platform, right? And sometime as a company, you make these wise calls that maybe the amount what we're expecting, he will not match, or he's not able to match right now, but he has good marketing experience and he can bring good budget to the marketing. That means as
yes,
a turnkey brand, when he'll grow, eventually we'll grow, right? So I think this is also a mindset. This should be the mindset of the companies, of the providers, and even for you guys as well, so that we have to handle these guys. Lots of people are coming to there, and sometimes it's good to be I would say facts, spitting facts, I would say, because I sometimes you meet people, they have the money, but they don't have the experience, and they are not looking for the partnership support. They just wanted to buy some from you, and they'll be like, I can manage
yeah,
things. But as a responsible company in the market, you have to mention those facts in front of him. Hey, that you have the money, we understand, but you need this kind of experience
yes.
for this, for getting company structured, for licensing. I think you should go to these guys for the platforms. You should go to these guys, and we'll help you for this. But if you'll eventually end up doing everything on on your own hand, you'll lose your money, and at the end of the
Of
you
course.
won't be able to, right? Because having a platform is not is just a part of it. There are a couple of pieces of the pie that you have to merge together, and then you'll be able to run.
You reject clients, for example? This is a very sensitive topic.
Mhm.
Not a lot of people speak about it, but do you
Mhm.
sometimes reject clients, your company?
So again, rejection is the wrong word, but yeah, we do evaluate clients. We do evaluate clients. It's not like if they have the money and then we'll start working with them. No, because again, we're not just selling softwares. We are creating business. We are supporting them. We are supporting business, we are creating partnerships. And we try to arrange good teams for them. We try to guide them. We try to consult them. We have in-house experts. We have an in-house expert for them. We consult them in the right way to to divert them in the right direction. And once they are ready, then we'll work with them again. So yeah, and it's a very good question which you have asked me. Lots of people would ask this question, but yeah, I think it's
I
important
tell
for
you what,
business. Great.
because we are get approached by many people, and
Hmm.
sometimes, someone send us a message, hi, I want this and this casino, without any idea what is the behind of
Correct.
this huge, it's a huge
Hmm.
operation. And then, we get back to them, yeah, the cost is 300,000 euros, the cost is 100,000. And then those guys are in shock. They they
Hmm.
they have they have never imagined that it's such expensive and complex business. So it's a very interesting. Some projects, I must say, some projects stuck in the way because the entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
they have, like you said, they have the lack of experience and the knowledge how to manage
Hmm.
this complex operation. You need to be able, to manage marketing, operation, retention, payments, so many verticals. And today, what I'm looking for is to see experience with clients. If you don't have actual experience managing such a complex operation, most probably that you will stuck somewhere on the way to set up the structure with the payments, with your game providers, with the regulator. I don't know, but if you have not enough experience and money, don't even start such a complex business. People have a dream, but
Yeah, sure. I understand. I understand. You see, having a dream is a good thing,
yes,
and we support that. But you have to work on this direction to achieve that dream. It's not like
exactly.
I just, I had a dream today that I'll start my own casino, online casino. But then you have to work for it. You have to learn experience. You have to get a good team because team is very important.
Obviously,
Partnership is also important. Like you guys are partners, you're doing partnership with the compliances for the set team with the company. We are partnering as a technical company. And again, as you mentioned in the starting, it's a wedding. If you'll marry a wrong person, with the wrong person, I think you'll end up with a very huge paying a very jolly money, and
yes,
your money will gone, man.
exactly.
Your money will gone. So it's
From
something
time to
which I can.
time, I see it
Uh,
from time to time. I see it, but
mhm,
if you work with the professional providers like us, for example, then you can immediately spot and identify the weak points of the new entrepreneur, and you can guide them what to do in order to be successful in the business. It's very important to choose, like we said before, to choose the correct providers. Not only the corporate side, but also platform, payments, all the verticals that combine a gaming company. It's very important.
yeah, yeah, for sure. It's important, and is I think just I have one or two more questions to you. I think it is just because when we have a discussion that these things came to mind. Like it is important to choose wisely, like the licenses and the company structure, then your technical partners.
Yes.
Uh, According to you, how are technology in regulations working together to create a safer gaming ecosystem? Because we see, every month there are every month there's new thing new coming up, new compliances, maybe new updates on
Yes.
those compliances, right? And how do you say this?
Um, I can look at this all. It's again,
Hmm.
it's a big topic. It's a topic on itself,
Hmm.
regulation. But I can see this topic in two ways. First of all, it's the regulator itself. What technology is a regulator uses in order to
Hmm.
maintain its companies, its clients, and the onboarding process. When the initial request to obtain a license, then there is regulation here. So this is one step. Usually, it's only in the setup. And second step, how the regulator maintains proper um, audit on the companies that they use his license.
Hmm.
Um, so I see that the most advanced regulators, um, they use a lot of interesting softwares and AML systems that make easier for everyone to obtain the license. What do I mean? In the past, for example, in order to obtain a license, let's say an example of a client that approaches us and he wants a license. Okay, so we used to send him tons of questions. Then there are like 200 emails back and forward, attachment emails. It was a mess. Just to manage it, you need to have a team to manage just communication with clients. Today, new jurisdictions like Nevis, they're using a portal, meaning the client or the corporate provider or the introducer, he's got a login to the system, and you immediately upload all the documentation according to a specific checklist. And then the administration of the license uses a lot of automatic tools to screen the documents and verify documents. So the whole process to obtain a license, it's much easier, and there is a lot of technology here. This is step now. This is step number one, which usually, you get the license after a couple of months. Now, step two is, okay, now the regulator, how does he or she make the audits on the clients? How do you know that they're still working according to the regulation terms and conditions? How do you know that the regulator knows that these companies that are not, for example, have players from restricted jurisdictions? You need to be able to have technological system that can, for example, that can scan the regulator's website, and the regulator and the operator, they need to show you that he's using all kinds of IP blocking systems and his player database and all kinds of things. So technology, of course, you see it every day that, regulators are adding more and more features, more and more automation system that can screen, documents and can screen all kinds of data in a huge speed. So this keeps our industry in a safe zone, because in the past it was 20 years ago when the industry was just starting. It was a jungle. You can do basically whatever you like, but the industry has grown up a lot. And today you see a lot of tech, like I said before, a lot of tech and systems and AML screening, and become much more matured, let's say. Yeah.
I think we explained this in two parts, and I think very thoroughly I've explained this. Thank you so much for this. And I think I'll ask you the last question, and then we can, wind up this discussion. It was a lovely discussion what we're having right now.
Yeah.
What is going to be your last advice to startups or the entrepreneurs on balancing rapid innovation with ethical responsibility in gaming?
Wow.
It's a big
you
one.
kept the last version, the big one.
Yeah.
I think again, it's like what we spoke a few minutes ago. It's the experience. This is this is like the experience of the clients, because unexperienced client can, take maybe not too seriously regulations and player protections and, all those kinds of AML and compliance. Why? Because there's no experience. Client doesn't understand that he needs to maintain his business for years. Don't think that you are now having a blast and everything is okay. You need to think years ahead. Where would you like to be in 5 years? Because time is moving so fast. It's amazing. Moving so fast. Everyone knows that. So entrepreneurs that want now to enter the market, they must adapt. Set mind of only, like you said, maintenance for long run. Think only for long run. Build a very solid structure in the beginning, because later on to change the ways that you work, it's extremely difficult. You need to have right in the beginning the correct providers, add a lot of technology, screening, AML system. Don't waste your time on very fast solutions. Okay, this is, I think, and I see hundreds of new entrepreneurs every year, hundreds. The only one that really go to the second year and the third year is the guys that thought only long run and build a very strong infrastructure, by all means, by compliance, by operations. They have a very strong IT capabilities because you need to manage all those verticals internally. When you say compliance, AML, player protection, it's not just its names. You need to have a very solid policies, and you need to maintain the policies, and you need to keep the policies according to the policies. So only one that really think for long run, they can be very successful in this business. Otherwise, they will play for 1, 2 years, 3 years, and that's it. They will not last. And they have also personal exposure. If you're breaking the law and you're not working according to regulation, the AML and all those things, it's a risk also for the UBOs, for the ultimate beneficial owners of the company, because it's serious business. When you touch clients' money, clients' funds, you are the responsible for this. So it's a game, but it's not a game. This is what I mean.
No,
Always
I think
think for longer.
it's a very good advice, and then with your words, it's a game, but it's not a game. It's a serious matter. It's a serious business.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good advice. I would say, and a good. You have shared your experience. Thank you so much. And that's a wrap for the episode of iGaming Unplugged, Unfiltered by GammaStack. And a huge thanks to you, Gilad, for breaking down the realities of licensing,
Thank you, Sunny.
compliance, and how smart structure can make or break your business. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
And
much, Sunny.
if there's one thing that thing to take away, is that regulations don't have to slow you down, right? With the right setup, with the right partners, it actually can set you up for the scale. And at Gamma Stack, that's exactly what we also focus, helping operators launch fast, stay compliant, and keep full control and
Exactly.
technology built for growth. And as we were discussing, it's just a partnership. It's not a client, it's not a selling, it's not a supermarket that you're going there somewhere and you're buying something. It's a partnership you're building.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dilad. Thank you
Thank you.
for for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.